Hello there and welcome back to another edition of the Hot Lap Classic Remastered. This time we're taking a look at the 1993 Mazda Eunos Roadster Normal. I love the fact they refer to this as the Eunos Roadster Normal. Well, that's what the game actually calls it. Of course, this is an MX-5 in other markets, but here it's a Eunos Roadster because it's a Japanese spec model. And the Normal is one of 3 specs of Eunos Roadster you can get in this game. You can get the Normal, the S Special, which is a little bit lighter, and the V Special, which is a little bit heavier and has the cream roof on it because it's the luxurious version. And then there's the other Roadsters, but we don't talk about them at the moment. This one, in theory, should be one of the quickest ones. A, because it's got the racing modification, which the 1993 cars are going to run, and it's got the turbocharger, which the 1993 cars are going to run. So it's really between this and the 93 S Special for what's going to become the quickest Eunos Roadster that you can get from the Mazda dealer. Front engine rear-wheel drive, 301 horsepower, 873 kilos. I do like the racing mod on the Eunos Roadster. We saw it on the 92 S Special as well, that had the red and white. This has got the British racing green and yellow, so it looks like an old Lotus, which does make it look rather cool. Anyways, it is going to get 6 laps of the Motorsports Land track in order to set the best time it possibly can. Our current leader is the Mitsubishi GTO LM Edition, the 1997 one. That's at a time of 27.223. The little Eunos Roadster unlikely to beat that. In terms of what the little Eunos Roadster is aiming for, well, we've had several of these cars, and we're going to discount the NA ones because this should be quicker than those on its first flying lap. And indeed it is. Alright, let's start talking about the turbo ones. We've had the V Special go around, the 93 V Special. With the turbocharger, that's at a time of a 30.9. So that's what this is aiming for. Beyond that, there is the Mazda Speed Roadsters. We've also covered those. I don't think this is going to get close to any of those, I will be honest. I'd be surprised if it does. The B spec is a 30.599. 30.886 on its first flyer, so slightly quicker than that V Special as we expected. Again, this has the advantage of racing mod and does weigh a little bit less than that V Special did. I think the V Special was about 903 kilos. This is only 846. I'm not quite sure how much more the V Special does weigh than this. If I had to guess, it's sort of similar to the Celicas between all their different versions, where there's only about 20 odd kilos in it. So you can also, I should point out, you could the 93 V spec did not run racing mod. Technically speaking, it had racing mod available for it, as all Eunoses in this game do, apart from the Master Speed versions. But I decided not to go with it because, well, it's heavier and variety and stuff like that. And it also gave me a chance to tell my Eunos Roadster story. So if you were interested in that, go back and watch that episode of the Hot Lap Classic Remastered. I don't think I've ever cut that much of that first corner, but it wasn't the worst idea in the world. The problem is with this car is it does feel pretty good to drive, but you've got to be careful because it will catch you out because, yeah, it's still making just about enough power to cause itself a problem. You know, the rear end will come out of this, and it comes out in a sort of very subtle manner. It doesn't give you, well, none of the cars in this game really give you much warning, but this especially, because it's so sort of nice to drive normally, you really are not ready for it when it does start to snap. Oh, come on. We almost did better in that final sector, but not quite. Yeah. Alright, I'll take that. That is the advantage of racing mod, I guess. Probably about 0.2 of a second, which I think we've said before is sort of a consensus we've come to. Pretty good. Like I say, the S Special is going to come along. That's got less weight, and hopefully that won't have the 1.6 in it. So that should be quicker. But, yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. All things considered. I do think it could have gone quicker. That Sector 1 and Sector 2, they don't line up for pretty obvious reasons. So, yeah, I don't think there's that much time in this. I don't think you could go 0.5 of a second quicker. I think this is roughly the ballpark at what this is going to operate at. I'd say 30.6, 30 point... very high 30.5. Maybe if you like to go around with it all day and not let it catch you out, but yeah, I think this is about what it can get. A 30.737 places this into 154th place. It goes in between the TRD 3000 GT and the Lancia Y. It is quicker than the Mugen S2000, which is interesting. Quicker than the EG Civic, the 93 EG Civic. It is slightly slower than an MR2 GTS, but that has 500 horsepower. It is slower than the Mazda Speed Roadster B-Spec, which is the NA model. Trying to find anything else it's really comparable to. Beats the Dodge Copperhead. So it's quicker than the Copperhead, which is good, because the Copperhead's quite a quick convertible sports car. Quicker than 200 SX. Yeah, it's not bad. It beats an NSX. I think that's the quickest NSX we've had as well. Nice. Yeah, it's not bad. It's just, again, at this level with 300 horsepower, that will start slowly catching you out. Usually, the Eunos is really, really well behaved, but at this sort of power level, that's when it does cross the line a bit. The best Eunos you should, and the one you should buy, is still the Roadster C-Spec. That is a whole 0.4 of a second quicker than this, but still, this one, pretty good, pretty good. So it'll be interesting to see if the S Special has any answer to it. Anyways, that is it for this episode. Thank you all very much for watching. Join me next time when I'll be driving something completely different. Until then, farewell.
Knowing just where my hopes and dreams are going.